So this picture quality is balls. Hi, I'm back, and my trusty husband is not here to help me set this shit up, and so it kind of looks like balls. So forgive me. Maybe someday I'll figure out how to be like more technologically inclined. Today's not that day. I hope that you can kind of see my face. Hi, I'm back. Bear with me in this terrible picture quality, like I said. So I'm back. um, as I mentioned on my Instagram post earlier today, for those of you that follow me, I wanted to talk about food addiction and what it means to me. Um, and some things that I've done in my life to overcome it, and um, some moments in my life that I have been able to be really honest with myself and acknowledge that there's obviously a disconnect in the relationship that I have with food. And so, just like any vice that anybody has, admitting to yourself that you struggle with an addiction, whether it be smoking cigarettes or booze or eating or food or whatever the case may be, it's no small feat. And it's taken me years to kind of be able to be really honest with myself and kind of really figure out why I am in this state, in the position that I'm in now. So, I should note that I have actually never suffered from, your conventional eating disorders. I've never been anorexic or bulimic. I just think that from a young age, my relationship with food and how I felt about food has never really been a healthy one. I feel like I'm a binge eater. In the sense that, I eat when I'm not hungry. I'll eat because it's there. I eat it because it tastes good and not because I'm hungry. And I feel like that's really normal for a lot of people, right? If there's donuts in the break room, I don't ever think, I could be wrong, whatever. I won't speak for everybody. But to me, I'm never walking to the break room and being like, I am starving. I just have to eat this donut. It's like, cool. It's sugar and fat. I like sugar and fat. I know that it tastes good. I'm going to go ahead and eat a donut. Now, I'm not saying that eating a donut or having a glass of wine or eating anything that's quote unquote not good for you is never reasonable. What I'm finding with myself is that there's a time and a place for everything. And like I said, that's really just me being really honest with myself. And I really believe that, I could do all of this. I could go to the gym. I could do a million rounds of Whole30. I could diet. I could cut carbs forever. I could do all this shit. But at the end of the day, really what this is about for me is fixing my relationship with food, realizing that food doesn't control my life and that I'm in control. That sounds dramatic to a lot of people that don't feel like they have an issue like that. There have been times in the past where it is a little obsessive for me. I think about what my next meal is going to be, or I eat the shit that I shouldn't eat, not because I'm hungry, because it's there or because it sounds good at the time. And for those of you that can do that whenever you want and you don't have any repercussions from it, weight wise, because I do believe, especially now that nourishing your body is so much more than what it depicts on the scale. But if you can do that or whatever, and you don't have any like weight gain repercussions, then that's fucking awesome for you. That's not the majority of the world, and that's certainly not for me. So after I finished Whole30, I made mention that I was going to kind of like follow Whole30 kind of loosely and just stay on that track. but I've really, and don't get me wrong, the idea of consuming whole, food is still my main objective. But I recently had the privilege of personally corresponding with Chrissy Cagney, who, fitness wise has been an inspiration to me. I have several of her programs, and I have tracked my macros in the past. For those of you that are not familiar with macro counting or flexible dieting, it's essentially a breakdown of your protein, your fat, and your carbs, and your calories, obviously. And they're tailored to what your specific goals are at that time. So most of you know that I have a pretty significant weight loss goal for the most part, which I will come back to. But mostly, my biggest thing right now is obviously to lose some of the weight, but more importantly, I want to change my body composition. So if you're unfamiliar with what I mean by that, you can be 200 pounds and look completely different than what I look like at 200 pounds. So if you don't believe me, look that shit up yourself, because it's true. And so your body composition and, how much, lean mass you have to your body fat percentage, all those things go into an account, right? And so that's going to be my main focus right now. I originally set out with this goal of wanting to lose 50 pounds by June. And I also wanted to begin getting into a space where I was going to be strong enough to do a meet, powerlifting meet, the year that I turned 30, which is in about like less than a year and a half now, in June. And so that's kind of where I'm at. Those are kind of my goals. So essentially I want to be strong as fuck. I do want to be smaller, but I also want to gain muscle. So, I'm not saying that I don't want to lose weight. What I'm saying is that I have goals that are a little bit bigger than that right now. So I want my body to be different. I want my body to be healthy. I also want to get into a space where I am, quote unquote, athletic. And so, as I mentioned, I had the privilege of corresponding with Chrissy Cagney. And we have decided that I am going to pursue with completing the Sexy Sculpt program. It's essentially lifting heavy and some conditioning. It's not your average cardio, treadmill, that sort of thing. And I'm also going to be tracking my macros again. So here's the deal with tracking your macros. A lot of people that are not super familiar with it and that I explain it to, they compare it to something like Weight Watchers, right? Like you have so many points and you can eat a cheeseburger or you can eat a steak and asparagus and a potato, and maybe they might be the same. So a lot of people in the past have considered it like if it fits your macros. And I was one of those people. And I do think that it is appropriate in some cases. But I also still believe that really the purpose of this is to still be nourishing my body and not just having like a fucking free-for-all and eating an entire chocolate cake and not eating any vegetables or lean meats or fruit or whatever the case may be, just so I could eat an entire chocolate cake. So I'm going to track my macros again. I'm going to do it because I know that it works from a personal standpoint. And I'm going to do it because I do believe that it is beneficial when you're working towards something, specifically like training for something, etc. And so what I'll say about it, in the beginning, until you get really familiar with it, it's hard. It's not rocket science, but it can be really time consuming. And so, planning ahead, just like with Whole30, is absolutely crucial to your success, to my success. There's going to be blocks of time on Sunday where I'm kind of just pre-entering in. I do use MyFitnessPal to track my macros, and, that I just have to take some time and kind of fit that in for the days to come instead of like scrambling it and doing it day of or moment of or while I'm at lunch or whatever the case may be. So if you're not super sure what the fuck I'm talking about and you're like, I don't know what you're doing, but this is nonsense and I don't know why I'm watching this, do yourself a service and look up flexible dieting or tracking macros, or you can reach out to me and, like, Ava, what the hell are you doing? It's for a good reason. So I was hesitant about doing it in the beginning when I started this whole process, because like I said, it can be time consuming. And sometimes it can, like, get a little obsessive, but what I've learned is that's the whole point. I mean, it's flexible dieting for a reason. So, I'm really going to focus on like hitting my protein goal. That's really important to me. And still like really paying attention to my fiber intake, how much water I'm drinking every day. But, my macros were specifically calculated and tailored to me, doing Sexy Sculpt and really busting my ass in the gym. And so, I can't be eating what I'm eating if I'm not going to the gym. So it's kind of like a double motivator, and they kind of support each other. So that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm doing. So I'm going to do it. And I appreciate all you guys stopping by and watching this horrible. I just keep looking at it and being like, I look like a ghost, or I look fucking weird, because I do, because this camera is just, I can't. But like I said, I appreciate you guys for stopping by. Thank you all for kind of supporting me on my journey and all your well wishes and your shout outs and your love. I appreciate it. I couldn't do it without a lot of that encouragement. So until next week, I will see you guys soon. Have a good weekend. Hasta la vista.